Hamas has accepted the truce. Is this surrender under siege or a genuine opening for the possibility of peace?
Well, we're not talking about peace. We're talking about a temporary ceasefire. And then hopefully this temporary ceasefire will result in negotiations that aims to achieve a permanent ceasefire. So this is one of the problems. The problem is that Israel is not interested in talking about peace. It is talking about all kinds of things to satisfy its interests, but not intending to advance the prospects of peace, whether in Gaza, the West Bank, with the Palestinians in general, or to deal with this issue in a comprehensive way.
So if I could follow up there, Mr. Ambassador, what you're trying to say is even if the Israelis, say, accept this deal for a temporary ceasefire, they may well, go back to, attacking Gaza right after the 60 days.
Not even after the 60 days. Oh, why did they break the first ceasefire that was reached in January? Was there a reason? Did Hamas violate the ceasefire agreement? As a matter of fact, it was Israel that violated the ceasefire agreement in January because it did not allow negotiations to resume on the 14th day as it was stipulated in the ceasefire agreement on a lasting ceasefire. And it didn't agree to negotiate again and then went back to war without a reason why they decided to do so. So we have a much bigger problem than thinking about what would happen in the coming 60 days. So, of course, we hope that we will achieve a ceasefire, but the problem is much bigger than that.
Okay, now, Ms. Chapman, if we could get your opinion here. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu insists that all hostages must come or be released at once. Is this based on a principled stand, for instance, or is this just a political maneuver to give him cover to continue on with the war, and he doesn't really care about the well-being of the hostages?
Well, first, thank you, Reham, for having us today, and greetings to your viewers and your distinguished guest. And Netanyahu's demand for all of the hostages in one go, this is not a genuine negotiating tactic to get the return of the hostages back home. This is a ploy by Netanyahu to stall and obstruct further negotiations. This is a very common, I don't even want to say negotiating tactic, but it's a common tactic to insert a poison pill condition into the negotiations, one or two conditions that are so unreasonable that the other party cannot accept them. And then Israel looks reasonable. They're saying, hey, we want to negotiate, but in truth, they have brought it to a halt. So demanding the release of all the hostages is a way to stop the negotiations, because right now the hostages are really the only shield that the people of Palestine have against continued bombing, even though they are being starved. And also Netanyahu has had two other chances at least to get the hostages back home. Right after October 7th, he was offered all the hostages in exchange for IDF not going into Gaza, and he refused. And shortly thereafter, he was also offered all the hostages in return for the IDF moving out of Gaza, and he refused. Netanyahu has never shown any concern for the hostages other than as a tool of manipulation, to use them to tug on heartstrings and to apply political pressure on the people of Israel and the rest of the world. Indeed, we see the families of the hostages in Israel are angry with Netanyahu. They claim he was refusing to do anything to bring the hostages back. And this is part of Netanyahu's longer-term strategy. He did admit in the media about a week ago that he is pro the vision of Greater Israel. This is the first time he said outright that, yes, this is part of their plan. So and the first time, as the ambassador mentioned, the first time Israel broke the ceasefire, it was not because of conditions on the ground or anything Hamas did. It was because Adam Boehler and Steve Witkoff had decided to negotiate directly with Hamas. This is toxic to Israel, because if there's ever direct negotiations with Hamas, this means that there is a chance for peace. and an end to the war in Gaza, which is the last thing that Netanyahu wants. The war in Gaza is part of his expansive territorial acquisition, the Greater Israel Project, to get Gaza. We've seen that the settlers have almost cleared the West Bank. Indeed, Smotrich announced earlier this week that settlers were going to be allowed to build in the E1 zone of the West Bank, which had previously for 20 years been off limits to settlers because this was land reserved for a future Palestinian state. So Smotrich saying they will build there is a slap in the face to the Palestinians and the international community, who realize that these two-state solution, having a Palestinian state where they're sovereign and no longer attacked and bombed by Israel, is the only solution to lasting peace in the entire regional Middle East, because Gaza and Palestine is an open, continuous sore. It's a cancer, and there will never be peace in the region until we solve Palestine. And there are other developments here at home in the United States. There's a big battle brewing because we have private donor groups that are offering aid to the Palestinians. And we now have, for example, Laura Loomer, a fringe figure who is much maligned on the right. Somehow she's gotten the ear of Trump, and she has posted on X that Palestinian children have been brought to the United States for medical care. Right now, Palestine has the largest number of children with amputated limbs in the entire world. The children in Palestine are being bombed. Their limbs are...
I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off there, Ms. Chapman, but like to just follow up, as you've said, that basically Israel has expansionist, ideas, and they want to have greater Israel, or whatever it is. The Americans or the American government are basically the only people or the only entity that can sort of pressure the Israelis into taking this deal. Is there a possibility that the U.S. government right now may possibly pressure the Israeli side into taking this deal?
Well, one thing that we are hoping is that as Trump wraps up Ukraine, he can turn his attention to Gaza. The American people have been very disappointed the way Trump speaks of Gaza and the Palestinians compared to the way he speaks of stopping the killing in Ukraine. But he has not said we need to stop the killing in Gaza. This is tearing apart the Republican Party. We have deep divisions. People are taking sides. The approval rating of Israel is plummeting in America. And we now have members of Congress that are actively opposing continued aid to Israel. We want to stop the arms embargo. We want to increase humanitarian aid. So what we need now is, for some reason, Trump has been in the pocket of Netanyahu, the big money donors, but there is now resistance in Congress and on the part of the American people to prevent Trump from handing Palestine to Israel. So, and this is one of the reasons why the upcoming negotiations are very important, because there is pressure on Trump from more than just the Israeli side right now. We feel this is our chance to break the grip that the Israeli lobby has had, not just on Trump, but on American foreign policy, to move forward, because this is unsustainable. And indeed, we can no longer protect Israel as they are waging war in southern Lebanon, in Syria. We are out of weapons. We do need to resolve this issue with Israel's aggression, because, and we do suspect they want to resume attacks on Iran. We figured they had 90 to 120 days to restock their weapons. We're thinking sometime in September, Israel may resume attacks on Iran. This is unbearable to the American people. We have no weapons. We cannot sustain this any longer.